Today I'm going to tell you something positive. I'm going to give you the 5 motorcycle brands that have earned the right to your money and your trust. Not because they paid for placement, not because their public relations team reached out, not because they sponsored a rally I attended, because the data says so, because 50 years of owner reports say so, because independent testing says so, because the mechanics who work on everything say so. This is the Fastest Way Lifetime list. Not a ranking of the coolest bikes, not a list of the most powerful machines. It is a list of the brands that will start every morning, cost you the least to own over a decade, hold their value when you decide to sell, and most importantly, not make you regret the decision when gas is at $5 and the dealer 3 towns over has just closed. 5 brands. The evidence for each one. No filler. Here is the list. Kawasaki goes on this list 5th because they are the 4th most reliable of the Japanese Big Four, and being 4th among the 4 most reliable motorcycle manufacturers on Earth is still a remarkable achievement. Let me put Kawasaki's reliability position in context. Consumer Reports conducted motorcycle reliability studies in 2014 and 2015. They found that across the entire industry, the Japanese manufacturers dominated reliability rankings. Yamaha topped the list, Honda and Suzuki tied for 2nd, Kawasaki came 4th. The gap between 1st and 4th in Japanese reliability terms is the gap between excellent and very good. The gap between Kawasaki and the European brands was the gap between very good and unreliable. What Kawasaki does better than every other brand on this list is engineering for performance, without sacrificing durability. The Ninja 650 has been described as the perfect mix of performance and dependability for over a decade. The Z900 is a reliable powerhouse with minimal documented issues across its production run. The Versi 650 has become the benchmark for rugged versatility, the bike that riders who put genuine miles on machines keep coming back to because it absorbs punishment and asks for very little in return. The specific model I would put money into from Kawasaki in 2026 is the Ninja 650. It is priced competitively at or below the equivalent Yamaha and Honda middleweight offerings. It has an assist and slipper clutch as standard equipment, while most competitors charge extra for that. The parallel twin engine has been proven across hundreds of thousands of real-world miles. And in the current market, which I covered in detail in the dealer summer video, a new Ninja 650 at a desperate dealership this August is a financial calculation that is genuinely favorable for the first time in years. Kawasaki is on this list because it is a Japanese company that has never forgotten it, is a motorcycle company, no private equity owner, no pension fund creditors, no bowling equipment manufacturer buying it to double production and cut quality, just engineers building machines that run. Suzuki does not spend as much on marketing as Honda or Yamaha. They do not have the racing presence of Kawasaki. Their designs are sometimes conservative to the point of appearing dated. They have never been the brand that generates excitement in showrooms. And I personally think that is exactly why they belong on this list. Suzuki's mechanical philosophy is different from the other Japanese manufacturers in one specific way that matters enormously for long-term ownership. They build in simplicity at the engineering level, rather than stripping it out to reduce cost. The SV650, which has been in continuous production in some form since 1999, uses a 90-degree V-twin engine that has not had a significant mechanical update in years. Not because Suzuki is lazy, because the engine is genuinely right. When something works this well for this long, you do not change it for the sake of changing it. Owner accounts of the SV650 are remarkable for their consistency. The same phrases appear across forums, review sites, and owner groups: bulletproof, just works, no warning lights, no glitches, got me everywhere. Riders have toured coast to coast on them, tracked them on the original engine, and commuted daily for a decade. The V-twin format, simpler mechanically than an inline 4 and with fewer failure points, is part of the engineering honesty that makes Suzuki machines last. The V-Strom 650 earns the same reputation in the adventure category. It is the do-it-all bike, the machine that goes everywhere and asks for almost nothing in return. Independent reliability data consistently puts the V-Strom in the top tier of real-world dependability across its entire production history. There is one specific reason Suzuki drops to 4th on this list rather than higher, Their market presence is contracting, fewer dealers, fewer service locations. In a situation where you need warranty work or a specific part, the Suzuki dealer network is thinner than Honda's or Yamaha's. That practical consideration matters when you are choosing a machine you plan to own for a decade. But if you have access to a Suzuki dealer and a mechanic who knows the platform, there is arguably no better value for long-term reliable transportation in the motorcycle world. The SV650 is one of the few machines you can buy in 2026 that was engineered to last rather than engineered to impress in a showroom. I want to stop here for a moment. Everything I'm telling you in this video is the result of years of research into what makes motorcycle brands actually worth owning. Not what marketing says, not what the showroom display implies, not what the financing payment on a new bike feels like when you sign the paperwork. The 2026 Motorcycle Buyer's Bible takes all of that research and puts it in one place. Specific models within each brand that test well independently. The price targets for 2026. The negotiation scripts that save you money regardless of which brand you choose. The pre-purchase inspection checklist that protects you on used bikes. The complete tire guide. The gear recommendations by independent safety data. Everything you need to actually buy a motorcycle intelligently in this market. Link is in the description. If you are seriously shopping right now, that document is the first thing you should read before you walk into any dealer. Yamaha sits at number 3 on this list because of a specific data point that I think is underappreciated. In an independent survey of over 11,000 motorcycle owners that asked about reliability through the lens of mean time to failure, specifically whether a motorcycle had broken down in a 4-year ownership period, Yamaha ranked first. Not Honda. Yamaha. By a small margin, but consistently across multiple datasets, the brand that produces the fewest breakdowns over a 4-year period is Yamaha. I personally think this reflects something specific in Yamaha's engineering culture. They are the only major motorcycle manufacturer that also designs engines for powerboats, outboard motors, personal watercraft, snowmobiles, and a wide range of industrial applications. The engineering knowledge that flows from those diverse applications, particularly from marine engines that must operate in some of the most demanding environments any engine faces, shows up in the durability of Yamaha motorcycle engines. The MT-07 has become one of the most recommended motorcycles in the world for a reason that has nothing to do with marketing. It is light, it is engaging, it is genuinely fun. And it is reliable in a way that owners describe with unusual consistency. The CP2 parallel twin engine that powers the MT-07 and in various states of tune powers the Tenere 700 is one of the genuinely well-engineered power plants of the modern motorcycle era. Simple enough to maintain. Robust enough to absorb the consequences of missed maintenance intervals. Fun enough that you want to ride it more than any other reason for a motorcycle to be reliable. The Tenere 700 belongs in this conversation separately. The adventure segment is increasingly filled with overpriced, overcomplicated machines that break their riders in difficult situations. The Tenere 700 is the opposite, lightweight and mechanically simple, with fewer things to go wrong off-road and a reliability record from real-world adventure riders that put significantly more expensive machines to shame. If you are buying one motorcycle in 2026 and you want it to still be your primary machine in 2036, the Yamaha MT-07 is the conversation you should be having. I want to be honest about why Honda is second rather than first on this list. The honest answer requires acknowledging something the Honda faithful will not enjoy hearing. Honda is the most reliable motorcycle manufacturer in the world by almost every measure that matters for average riders. Their Goldwing has documented examples of running 400,000 miles on the original engine. Their Africa Twin has verified reports of riders reaching over 360,000 miles before the machine was stolen, not before it broke down. Their CB500 series regularly crosses 100,000 miles with nothing more than routine maintenance. Honda motorcycles from 30 years ago are still on the road. The engineering standard is real, and it is consistent. The Consumer Reports Motorcycle Reliability Survey found a specific comparison that I think says everything. there is a 4 times greater chance that a BMW will need repair than a Yamaha. Between Honda and the European brands, the comparison is similarly stark. Honda's failure rate in the first 4 years of ownership is the lowest in the industry, not tied for lowest. The lowest. So why is Honda second? Because the Honda Goldwing costs $25,500 new, because the Africa Twin costs $15,000 to $17,000, because Honda's premium positioning, which their reliability record fully justifies, means that in 2026, with gas at $4, dealers under pressure, and consumers squeezed, the Honda entry price in most desirable categories is the highest of the Japanese brands. Yamaha gives you nearly identical long-term reliability at a consistently lower price point. The MT-07, compared with any comparable Honda, is a more favorable financial proposition in 2026. That is the only reason Honda is second. If price is not your primary constraint, if you are buying a touring bike, if you are buying the machine you want to own for 20 years, if you are making the last motorcycle purchase of your riding life, buy Honda. The Goldwing is the most genuinely reliable touring motorcycle ever manufactured. The Africa Twin is the benchmark for adventure touring durability. The CB series is the standard against which every middleweight is measured. Honda belongs on this list because no other manufacturer has earned the trust of more riders across more decades with more consistent engineering than Honda. They are second because Yamaha is slightly cheaper with nearly identical reliability. They are first in everything else. The Bible has a complete breakdown of the specific Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, and Suzuki models I would actually buy in each category in 2026, not just the brand, but the specific year ranges that have the best real-world reliability records, the specific models to avoid, and the price targets that represent genuine value in the current market. That is the information that makes the difference between knowing which brand to choose and knowing which bike within that brand to put your money on. The link is in the description. The first brand on the Fastest Way Lifetime list is Honda. I know I just said Honda is second. Let me explain the distinction. Second in 2026, based on current pricing relative to Yamaha. First on a list that spans the entire history of reliable motorcycle ownership, because that is what a lifetime list actually is. No manufacturer has built more reliable motorcycles across more decades for more types of riders than Honda. Period. Not close. Not debatable. The data from Consumer Reports, from independent owner surveys, from rental fleet operators who need bikes that run every day without excuses, and from mechanics who work on everything and have opinions they will tell you honestly, all point to the same place. Honda's engineering philosophy is built around one idea that has not changed since Soichiro Honda founded the company. Build something so reliable that the person who owns it never has to think about whether it will start. The Goldwing. The CB750 that changed motorcycles in 1969 and is still beloved today. The Super Cub is the best-selling motor vehicle in human history, with over 100 million produced, and it is still in production. The Africa Twin. The Rebel. The CB500 series. Every one of these machines has documented real-world reliability that no other manufacturer can match across the full breadth of their lineup. When rental companies need motorcycles that will run every day without failing and without making their business look bad, they buy Honda. When police departments need patrol bikes that cannot break down in the middle of a shift, they buy Honda. When someone is buying the last motorcycle of their riding life and they need to know it will be there every time they want to ride for the next 20 years, they buy Honda. I drive a 2000 Ford Ranger with 340,000 miles on it because I believe in machines that were built to last rather than machines that were built to impress. Honda builds motorcycles on the same philosophy. Different vehicle, same answer. The Honda CB500X, the Rebel 500, the Africa Twin, the Goldwing. Any of them. The specific model that fits your riding style and your budget. Pick it. Maintain it. Ride it. And come back in 15 years and tell me I was wrong. You will not. I want to say one more thing before we finish. Every brand on this list is independently owned by engineers who built their companies around motorcycles. None of them have been sold to a Bahraini investment firm. None of them have been purchased by a private equity group for 630 million euros and loaded with acquisition debt. None of their helmets are owned by a teacher's pension fund. None of their gear is distributed by an automotive aftermarket company. They are motorcycle companies. Run by people who understand what it means to build something that has to be trusted with a human life on the road. In an industry that has been systematically consolidated, financialized, and optimized for investor returns rather than rider outcomes, that independence is worth more than it looks like from the outside. The complete guide to buying within these 5 brands, specific model year recommendations, price targets for 2026, used versus new analysis, and the negotiation scripts that apply regardless of which brand you choose is all in the 2026 Motorcycle Buyer's Bible. Third and final mention. Link is in the description. Stay safe. Ride smart. Buy it from the list.